This is Score Golf, the voice of Canadian golf. Score Golf is powered by Volkswagen, from one good drive to another. Now, here's your host, Bob Weeks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Score Golf TV. Well, today we're coming to you from New York City, yes, the city that never sleeps, and we're here because of this guy, Tiger Woods. Well, not solely because of Tiger Woods, but certainly when you think of Tiger and you think of golf equipment, you think of Nike Golf. And we're down here to take a look at what Nike has to offer for 2012 and also to take a look at a company that has only been in the golf business for, well, around a decade or so. It's quite a success story, and in 2012, they're going to push the envelope even further. We'll have a look at all they have to offer coming up a little bit later on in the show. We'll also have all our regular features, but this week, let's get things started.
Prospective, meeting today's PGA Tour stars.
Let's get things started with some Q&A with the PGA Tour's best stars. Here's a two-time Canadian Open champion and a FedEx Cup winner. He's Jim Furyk, and here's what he had to say about his memories of playing in the RBC Canadian Open.
Anytime you win a national open, and the Canadian Open, I believe, is the fourth oldest tournament in the world, somewhere in that area. So, I hold it in high esteem. I really, obviously winning the US Open at home, and being in my homeland and home country and being one of the four majors is in my mind, the crowning moment of my career. But I'm very proud of winning the Canadian Open, and then also being able to defend that championship and win back-to-back years, which meant a lot to me. That's the only time in my career that I think I defended at Vegas once. It was the second time in my career I defended a championship. So, but to be able to do it in Canada and on two good golf courses, I was proud of that.
In 2012, Furyk is back in Canada as the RBC Canadian Open stops at Hamilton Golf and Country Club, the same course Furyk won his first national championship at.
I'm excited. I missed the first year we played in Hamilton. I want to say it was in about 01 or 02. And I'd heard the response from the players on the PGA Tour and how much they liked the golf course. They all talked about what a great golf course it was and how much I would have liked it, my friends were saying. So I went back and they were absolutely right. From the first practice round I played, I was very comfortable on the golf course. I liked the layout, and you always, I think, play better, or I always play better when I get those good feelings early in the week and enjoy playing a golf course.
He turned pro in 1992 and has 16 tour wins to his name. To say he plays a lot of golf is an understatement. So how often does he ever tinker with his gear?
I think it depends on how badly I want to get its replacement out of the bag. If I'm really excited about getting one out of the bag because I'm not happy with the performance, then it may be 3 or 4 times on the range. I'll go out there and put it in a practice round and see how it plays. If for a sand wedge in that, getting the bounce and the sole just right on a club, it may take a few weeks to work into the bag, but those usually go in because they have to, because you've worn out the wedge before. And so I try to start on that process early, about a month before I have to, and slowly blend a wedge into the bag. But I think the easiest for me is putters. I have a bad habit or a good habit, however you want to look at it, of switching putters very quickly. And I've switched on Wednesday night before a tournament and put one in play on Thursday just because I felt better about it. So that's probably my quickest hook is pulling putters, and that's kind of a revolving door in my bag.
We had a chance to sit with David Toms and ask him some questions too. The first being how often he changes the clubs in his bag.
Well, I've had the same set of irons now for about 5 years, so obviously I'm pretty meticulous about those. Drivers and other woods, maybe a putter, you find something and you make some putts, or you find something you feel like you hit a little further, you might throw it in the bag. But it's funny how we always go back to what feels like works, so that can be short-lived sometimes.
Despite not being one of the longer hitters on tour, Tom still finds a way to compete as he has 13 tour wins to his name. So how does he stay competitive?
Well, you just can't have any weaknesses. You really have to be efficient in all parts of the game. First of all, you have to be straight. Short and crooked would not be a very good combination, so you have to be pretty straight. And obviously take advantage of the golf courses where you can compete. I mean, certainly there's some that you're behind the 8 ball, but for me, I have to play well and have those opportunities.
In 2011, Toms had a heartbreaking playoff loss to KJ Choi in the Players' Championship. Thankfully, he has a philosophy for rebounding when his game isn't where it wants to be.
A lot of determination, a lot of patience, because really the way to get out of it is to play one shot at a time. We hear that all the time, but certainly to be totally into every shot, give it full commitment, and that's a long process. And a round of golf takes a long time, so it's just really something you have to do, is be into every shot, mentally and physically, and that's the best way to get out of a slump, in my opinion.
That brings us to our next question. What's the main difference between a good tour player and an amateur trying to improve their game?
Usually not having a plan for their shots, whether it's not hitting the right club, playing it back in their stance when they're trying to hit it high, playing it up in their stance when they're trying to hit a punch shot, just up there swinging and not having a plan. And it's amazing if the golf ball doesn't do what they want it to do, but they certainly don't have a plan at all.
Freddie Jacobson's take on the amateur is a little different.
Yeah, I would try for amateurs to really work on the setup and the grip first of all. A lot of golf shots are decided already by the way you set up or how you grip the club. So if you can set up in a decent position and you give yourself a chance to make a good move, that's a big key factor, and that's I think where a lot of amateurs struggle and have a hard time. So if you set up poorly and you're out of angles, you're out of lines, you've got to compensate so much to hit a good shot, or you've got to play a big curve ball or a big slice or a big hook. So if you can set it up consistently and do it well, I think that would help a lot.
Well, we're here with Freddie, and with the Olympics only a few months away, we wondered what sport he'd like to win an Olympic gold in.
Well, ice hockey would be the one, I think. For being Swedish, we're always big on following our hockey team, and we've been doing well over the years, and obviously it would be nice winning a gold medal in hockey if it was any other sport.
And what about Graham McDowell?
When I think about the Olympics, I guess I think about running and jumping and the real pure athletic, pursuits. I mean, I suppose the 100-meter sprint final, to be the fastest man on the planet, a la Usain Bolt. I think to be the fastest man in the world, that would be kind of cool. So to be a sprinter, to have that explosive pace and that speed, would be the one I'd love to win.
That being said, the 2016 Olympics will feature golf for the first time since Canada's George S. Lyons won the Olympic gold in 1904. How much impact will golf at the Brazil 2016 Olympics have on the sport?
It's hard to know what kind of impact it's really going to show. The golf on the world stage is huge. Will it have a massive impact on the Olympics? I don't know. I think it'd be pretty cool representing your country and have a chance to win a gold medal or a silver medal or a bronze. Being part of that would be pretty awesome. But as far as what kind of impact, I really don't know at the moment. I think we're all sort of baffled by it. We're not quite sure what to expect.
I don't think we realize yet what an impact the Olympic Games have and how much focus it is on the Olympic Games at the site, how much media that's there, and how broad it is across the world. So I think with that reach and reaching out to a lot of countries where golf might not have been booming yet, I think that's going to be the big key for evolving the game in places where it hasn't yet taken off the way it has here in the US and in Europe, and starting to take off in Asia and other places. So I think we're going to see tremendous growth.
Coming up after the break, Nike shows us the latest gear for 2012 and an amazing concept putter that's turning heads. Well, if you think making golf clubs for this guy is a tough task, try making it for the millions and millions of golfers who play around the world every single day. It's certainly a tough task when you have to cover a wide spectrum, but Nike thinks they've done a pretty good job at it, especially for 2012. Here's their lineup.
The Technology Report, a look at the science, research, and development of the game.
Nike Golf in 2012 is all about performance. That not only holds true for clubs such as the VRS line and balls with the 20XI, but also in clothing. Performance in clothing? Well, it might sound odd, but in Nike's Tiger Woods collection, for example, it offers a lighter weight and more forgiving fabrics to allow players to move quicker, meaning the potential for more clubhead speed. Oh, and it also happens to look great.
In our Tour Performance offering, we have utilized ultra-lightweight fabrics. We've utilized a lot of stretch in our fabrics, and overall we've reduced the weight out of Tiger's uniform by 20%. So lighter, faster, stronger, great stretch, great mobility throughout. We find that the consumer that's going to be interested in the sport product is looking for performance, but that's an expectation on behalf of the Nike brand. So they know that it's going to perform, but they want a little bit more of a mix of unique fabrics, natural handed fabrics, maybe a little bit more of a cotton hand. But first and foremost, it's about style. They're looking for something that's going to give them their own unique style, their individuality, but enable them to feel their best.
Even if your game isn't on par with Tiger's, you can still benefit from the great technology offered, including no-sew seams to eliminate the rough stitching, laser perforation to remove weight from the shirt, and dry fit to wick away sweat and keep you cool. Nike Tour's premium line also has great technology in it and has a clean, sophisticated look with more refined fabrications and great detailing.
A little dressier, a little bit more forward sometimes with some of the details that we're using, drafting off of what you see in menswear and more traditional women's wear as well.
While Nike Golf has a full line of clothing and equipment for every golfer, the company has its roots in shoes. So when it brings out a new shoe line for golfers, there's always a reason to take notice. For 2012, Nike Golf has updated and improved its Lunar Ascend shoe line to provide more comfort and stability. Of course, what Nike's able to do when building any shoe is to bring in research and proven technology from other divisions that will help its golf shoes. That's the case as Nike Global Footwear Director Lee Walker explains.
So upper hyperfused construction, it's an engineered composite consisting of 3 layers. There's the base layer for stability, which is a one-piece synthetic. There's the breathable mesh for ventilation. And then the top layer is a TPU skin, which fuses it all together for an extra layer of durability. Cushioning system underneath is the Lunar Lawn, full-length Lunar Lawn. And then the outsole is the integrated traction, which is a whole new design with different geometries for traction where you need it, and excellent foot strike from heel to toe, and great low-profile stability and ground feel.
Nike will also be releasing its Dunk line based on a highly successful basketball shoe of years gone by. Already Anthony Kim and Paul Casey have committed to wearing it on tour. Meanwhile, Nike's production guru Tom Stites talks all about the new putters for 2012.
We've been very, very successful with our Method core technology and being able to improve the skid roll effect on everybody's putts that way. We know that if we can move the material as far back away from the face as possible and put it on the perimeters, the club becomes very stable when hit off center. And so the Method drone is a radical shape geometry with those kinds of attributes where we've actually heel and toe loaded, tungsten material into the heel and the toe, which allows that club to be very, very stable at impact. It was pretty aggressively designed too, so we've been very pleased with the way people have been accepting this.
Think that's cool? Take a look at the new concept putter on store shelves now.
So we got a very lightweight aluminum face and an extremely heavy back weight that's made out of stainless steel. And in doing so, we basically came up with a very asymmetric, very radical design, which allowed us to be able to improve the moment of inertia in this smaller profile. And like I said, it's a very aggressive look. It's kind of like all things that Nike's pretty well known for in terms of aggressive design, and we've been able to take that approach and put it into a very functional, very playable, mallet-style game improvement putter.
Obviously, Tiger Woods is the focal point for Nike Golf, and this year Nike has teamed up with an American retailer for a contest that will give those fans a chance to play with the living legend. Here's the promotional spot that shows a fun and relaxed side to Tiger that we haven't seen in some time.
More left! Found it! Found it! Here you are! 4 right! Hey, nice out. Is that 8? 6. Really gotta hold that one. You can totally play that.
Ooh. There's always the next one.
Nike Golf 2012 appears to be a great year for one of golf's best brands. Who knows, it may be just what you need to shave a few more strokes from your game. When we come back, we'll give you a quick tip on how to use a belly putter. Well, of course, Nike was started by this guy, Bill Bowerman, who used a waffle iron to invent the sole of a running shoe. Since that time, of course, Nike's gone on to innovate in so many different ways across so many sports, including golf. Now, golf instruction is very much the same way. It has changed and evolved over the years, and every week here on ScoreGolf TV, we give you a little help. It's the newest and it's the greatest. This week's Pro Tip.
Swing School, lessons to help you play better golf.
Time again for your weekend golf tip. Joining me is Colin Emery, head professional here at the Weston Golf and Country Club. And today, Colin, we're going to talk about something that is really a lot of buzz on the PGA Tour. I'm not sure if it's quite made it down yet to the club level, but certainly I guess a lot of people thinking about switching to the belly putter. And for those who are, what would be the reasons? Why are the guys on the PGA Tour doing it, and what would be the benefits for the local guy going out for this weekend?
I've always got a keen interest, Bob, in what's going on in the world of professional golf. And when I see players like Phil Mickelson, who's a fantastic, just a phenomenal putter with a standard length putter, looking at an option like a belly putter, I like to know why. And I think there's a couple of reasons. If you practice a lot of putting, you will find it's a little hard on your back. And I think the belly putter, standing a little bit more upright, takes some pressure off your back.
There's a lot of guys with the bad fronts who have the bad backs, right? Who could probably use that?
Why it's a little more popular on the senior tour for sure.
Yeah.
You do have a fixed point, which allows you to use your shoulders and arms a little bit more. And one of the really tough parts about putting is trying to take your hands out of the equation. And I think the belly putter certainly helps you to do that. If you struggle with pace or deceleration, another sort of common error with putting, I think the belly putter certainly alleviates that. There's a lot more swing to the stroke rather than hit. All those things sort of add up to more consistent results.
Okay, let's have a look and go through some of the stuff that you're doing here, and you can kind of walk us through what you were talking about in terms of, that wrists breaking down in pace and swing. So give us some examples of that.
So number one, you'll notice my posture. I'm certainly a lot more upright with this putter than I would be with a standard putter. I'm going to fix the putter. I'm a right-handed putter, obviously. I'm going to fix it just left of my belly button so I can get the shaft to lean just a little bit toward the hole. Ball placement is just inside my left heel, so consistent with a normal full shot. Maybe just a touch more weight up on my left foot. And the one thing I always try to key on, I'm going to let the putter head swing here so the stroke is a little bit longer on both sides, both the back swing and the forward swing. Much easier to keep your body quiet, keep your shoulders moving, keep your arms moving, and really doesn't allow you to break your wrist down at all.
All right, well, probably a good time of year to test one out. You don't have a lot riding now. Maybe take one out and demo it, and maybe you'll be surprised.
Travel Getaways, looking at Canada's best golf destinations. There are certain things that every Canadian golfer must do in his or her career. Go to the Canadian Open, play golf while it's snowing, and tee off at the Jasper Park Lodge. If there was ever a course that perfectly exemplified what Canadian golf is, this might be it. Designed by Stanley Thompson in the 1920s, the Jasper Park Lodge golf course has matured to near perfection. It offers a perfect combination of challenge and scenery stretched across its 18 holes. The course is not long by today's standards at just over 6,600 yards, but what it lacks in length, it more than makes up for in its demand for execution. You might be able to get away with a less than perfect shot here, but if you're on your game and figure out the greens, a great round is possible.
It really ends up being a place that it's fun when you walk off of. You hear that said about many golf courses, but I truly believe Jasper is one of those ones, is why it sort of hits home with so many people, is that you walk off 18 and you don't want to necessarily go to the first tee because it beats you up and you can score better. You come off of ours and you want to go play again because of just how much enjoyment you have.
The subtleties are everywhere at Jasper. Take the par 3 9th hole, for example, known as Cleopatra. It was originally designed by Thompson to resemble the shape of a woman's body, but changed prior to opening because of the protests of the owners. While it might not have that same shape, the hole is still a wonderful par 3, and in a typical Thompson tactic, your target is the far-off mountain peak in the distance. That occurs on several holes as you launch your ball towards a distant summit or weave it around Lac Beauvert. And around here isn't complete without a sighting of the wildlife that also calls the course home. It's no wonder that Jasper has been ranked by Score Golf magazine as Canada's #1 golf course resort time and time again. As well, the course is in the top 10 in Canada. Of course, playing golf is just one part of the visit to Jasper Park Lodge. The resort is also among the most luxurious and accommodating anywhere. The great amenities include fabulous food at a variety of restaurants, an exceptional workout facility, great shopping, and of course, the world-famous pool that is a treat at any time of year. And no matter who you meet along the way here, they always seem to have a smile on their face, happy just to make your day a little bit better. If you're looking to get away from it all, play golf in some of the most jaw-dropping scenery in the world, and enjoy yourself like never before, then Jasper Park Lodge should be at the top of your list. There simply is nothing like it anywhere.
When we return, we'll wrap up another episode of Score Golf TV.
Week Speaks is brought to you by Bushnell, makers of the Pro 1M and Tour Z6 rangefinders.
Well, throughout the course of the show, we've been here with Nike and learning all about their new wares for 2012. Interesting to note that this company really didn't exist in a golf fashion much more than a decade ago. In fact, it's very interesting to note that of the top club companies, very few of them existed more than 20 years ago. Everything seems to change, and the more things change, the better it is for the actual golfer. Sure, it's hard on the players, it's hard on the companies, it's hard on the people who work for those companies, but when you see the evolving process of new companies stepping up, new technologies, new research, the bottom line winner is us, the people playing the game. We get new technologies, we get people who have never thought about golf equipment before being brought into the research and design process, NASA scientists, scientists who work on the military, all these kind of brains and these new ideas and these new concepts and new tools in terms of computers and what they can do come into golf equipment, make new golf equipment that ends up eventually in your bag and my bag, and it allows us to play the game much better. Over the years, it's become a little bit of an easier game to play. I'm not saying that it's made it easier because there's still the nuts behind the wheel. But when it comes to golf equipment, innovation is constant, and just when you think you've seen it all, well, there's something new that comes along, as we've learned this week here in New York City. That's all time we have for this week on Score Golf TV. Hope you've enjoyed the show and hope you'll tune in again next time when we bring you more of the best golf information from around the world right here to Canada.
Thanks for watching Score Golf on TSN, the voice of Canadian golf. Score Golf is powered by Volkswagen. From one good drive to another. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, Feed Your Wild Side, and Kelowna Tourism. 19 golf courses from easygoing to ego-shattering.
Clothing provided by Callaway Golf Canada.